Alright, so here's the thought process today. Last time I held the motor on with some decking screws, and that only held for a moment, so we're going to look at that, see if I can make a wider motor mount. And I think I've got some snowblower tires that I might be able to get on the front to get a little bigger. So last time as I was getting this together, I tried to use decking screws through the motor mounts because I couldn't get a wrench in to get any bite into the wood. So I started playing with some galvanized steel brackets, drilling some holes so that I can actually clamp to the galvanized steel and then go out wider so I can actually get in there with a an open face or something and block in. So I'm going to try fabricating a few of those to see if I can actually hold the motor. The other interesting piece I'm figuring out, so these are the original wheels. They're 14-inch tires, or 145/70-6 on 6-inch rims, and they're for a 1/2-inch axle. Well, these fellas came off that snowblower I pillaged for the motor. They are 7/8 inner diameter. So my thought is this is 1/2-inch inner tube and like 8/10 outer, so there'll be a little bit of slop. But I wonder if I'll be able to cut these down and adapt them so I can get what are these? These are 16s on 6.5, 6.5-inch wide rims, 8-inch diameter rims, which would be neat. So we're going to see how it all comes together. So I got to come off more than that just for this wheel to be able to get some bite, which also implies I got to cut deeper than flush with the rim. I got to come in. Whoa. All right, let's see. Oh, that's still hot. That is part of, I cut that inch or so off there because that's as close as I could get in with my grinder, but it's not enough. However, notice when this is on, I have the washers back on there. Notice the clearance with the frame up front. So I really can't cut this any shorter without my turning hitting up front. So I think the option is going to be this guy here. Does a nice job of making the axle wider, longer, but I think what I'm going to do is buy a longer version of this so I can cut off the threads, and I'm actually going to weld it. I'll cut off the threads, slip it on, just do some welds up here so I have the thicker axle. But I got to get something twice as long, and then I'm also going to need to get something that will thread onto the outside to hold the wheel on. So that's as far as this one's going to go today. I'm going to see about finishing up the airbox and go from there. Alright, Alright, so the idea here is to make these plates out of galvanized steel so I can actually get out wider and actually get something down into the wood. So I'm going to cut a few of these and see what I might be able to do here. So I started with these brackets from a Home Depot. You see, you cut one down, laid it on here, and used a Sharpie to kind of mark where my holes are, and I've just drilled them. So I'm going to clamp these down and see if I can actually clamp the motor with at least 2 of these for right now. See how this idea is going to work. You know what? There's a better way of doing this. That's where I'll put my holes. First, I want to line up my front one. Alright, now, ooh, that's hot. Now, if I were to shift this hole this way, this lip, probably also still hot, won't catch the end of the block. So I got one hole, got to drill the other hole. Alright, so that's the idea. On the front of the motor, belts on this side, I should have motor mounts, and then these 2 out in the corners, hopefully to give me some space to be able to reach in and put a bolt through it. Let's go see how it works. Something like that. But something I am going to do is I am going to take this one off and drill the holes in these forward corners just to give myself some more space. I didn't think of that the first time, but on this one I think it's going to be advantageous to scoot this out because I might be able to come straight in. So I'm going to pull that other one, redo that. Next thing to wonder is how do I get this air box to stay on? There's nothing to pinch to, but I wonder if I can just build this out so I can pinch against it with, boy, even just 2 little pieces of wood glued to it. I don't need this whole choke mechanism. I could just reach up and do that. Alright, I literally just cut off a little bit of a wooden shim. The idea is I'm just going to JB weld, just like that, to give me something to clamp down against. We'll see how much that restricts the airflow. Give that just a moment to set up, and we'll see how this can maybe clamp on, and with that wood and rubber grooves, maybe it's gonna hold. Maybe hard to see it all. but right here there's a gap because it comes out flat, so there's a big air vacuum opportunity right there that bypasses all of this. Maybe a little electrical tape, but that's just really jury-rigged. Alright, impressions. The galvanized motor plate works. It gave me a way to secure with long lags into the wood block. However, there is flex and bounce in it. And part of that might be because the heads of the bolts holding the plates to the motor are sitting on top of the wood blocks. Everything is elevated by that 1/4 inch or so, so there's some bounce. I could countersink some holes into the wood blocks so that everything sits flush. That'll probably take that little bit of bounce out. The air filter with the wooden shims, that holds it on. That was easy to do, but it's not, everything isn't sealed through that air filter. There's still some gaps going around it, and I don't know if a rubber caulk that could take the heat should do something like that, or it needs more thought. The front tires I'll be able to get on, but I've got to do some fabricating and a little bit of welding to make beefier axles on the front to accommodate the those bigger wheels and rims.